Welcome back to another episode of Quiet Please, the golf podcast, where we dive into the hottest topics, latest drama, and all things golf. I am Alan Depew, your host for the next 45 minutes or so. And we've got a jam-packed episode with some big stories shaking up the world of golf, from the match showdown between Rory, Scottie, Bryson, Brooks, to major business moves regarding the PGA Tour and the Saudi Fund. And what is the fate of Jay Monahan? It's all happening now. Let's get into it. And as always, my panel of esteemed colleagues play as in a threesome again today. We lost one right at the last minute, but
Free ball.
three balls are in the air. Joining us from Kentucky, Boston Bob Baldessari, sport a nice little Woodford Club toque you got there, sir.
It's a little bit chilly, and we're getting ready for oh, oh.
And on that note, my pub crawl night's coming on Friday night. Just want to throw that out there, so don't call me Saturday morning. Andy Hydorn, the ever-present one. Good to see you again, sir.
Yes, nice to be in this three ball.
Nice to be seen, right?
Yes.
Hey, wherever you're listening to the podcast, reach over there, give us a five, give us a follow, download some shows. That's how we know you're out there. If you want to drop us a line, if you're watching us on the YouTube channel, we greatly appreciate it. Please subscribe. And guys, I'm going to jump right into it because I stayed up until I fell asleep because it was that boring at the end. The match, Rory, Scottie, Bryson, Brooksy, the drama of it all. One of the big events they were anticipating for the year, or was it? Andy?
I just what? Oh, good, Andy.
Oh, I thought it was super disappointing. Like like I was excited to watch it. And I think a few different things came into play here. Um,
The big puffy jacket?
well, I just think it being really cold, even though we're inside our own living rooms watching it. I, I don't really want to watch guys struggle to stay warm. And playing in the dark, I don't love that either. Um, and it lacked any real like excitement. It was pretty damn disappointing.
Bobby, everyone was talking, at least around the golf shop today, the personalities, the Bryson Brooksy combination, or the cool, calm demeanor of Rory and Scottie. When in this high stakes, kind of high profile match, um, did either of them really focus, you think, on their game? Was there a little bit of competitiveness involved there?
Oh, they probably was. I watched for quite a while, but then I just couldn't take it anymore. And between Bryson's jacket, maybe Bryson was hitting too many shots over his house. They should have been a par three contest. Um, I was just, I after a while, I was appreciating Charles Barkley's comments. I was like, all right, he's entertaining, especially when he asked Rory and Scheffler about their balls.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, I will say this about Bryson. He had the zinger of them all at the out on the range. I don't know if you saw that one on social where Rory said something about needing
So yeah,
to give it give it back to Bryson, and I said, and Bryson goes, well, let's be honest, I think that was self-induced.
yeah, yeah. I felt like Andy, where it's sort of years ago. The night thing was kind of, oh, it's kind of cool, but the jacket was like, I mean, it looks like NFL sideline guys wearing the jacket. It's just,
No, it looked like Huggy Bear from Starsky and Hutch is what it looked like.
oh
Like,
yeah, oh man, we're going back
Huggy
now.
bear.
he
Yeah,
looked,
Huggy Bear.
you know what? It looked like Snoop Dogg could be sporting that jacket.
I think Brooks might have been chilly, but I'm sure he was like, I'm not putting on a damn jacket. With Bryson can wear that.
Well, that's his demeanor. Let's to the spoils, the winners. Andy, Rory, fan favorite performance, didn't disappoint. I mean, I didn't see him really miss a shot. Did you?
No, he was on his game. I thought the one interesting thing was too bad Phil Mickelson wasn't there because his computer would have figured all this shit out. But how they were coming up short, like they were coming up way short on some iron shots,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
like like 40 yards short, and being like super surprised that it happened. So I
Yeah.
thought that was interesting. But as far as performing, I think Rory was on and he was making putts.
He was without a doubt he was making putts. To your point about performance and execution, I loved it when they had the ATV hole in one, and they
Mm.
said maybe it should just be closer to the pin or hit the green because none of them knocked it on.
Yeah.
220, 221 yards.
I liked it when they pulled the guy out of the spectators and gave him the putt.
And he
Yep.
hit a good putt, and then he
He
goes,
did, yeah.
Rory gave me a bad read.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You thought you were going back to the Ryder Cup and Rory was going to have to pay the
Yeah,
guy $10 or with Justin Rose, whoever that was back then.
That was
yeah, that was
Justin
cool.
Rose. Yeah.
Scotty, Bobby, consistency. I mean, it's his hallmark. We saw the claw, we didn't see the claw. Rock solid, but actually a couple times, like I'm thinking of that. I think it was the last hole of the second segment where he takes the driver out, tries to pump it up the deeper up the fairway, blocks it a little right. Um,
And
did you
then
see?
Rory had to hit that hooked wedge.
Yeah, hook
Yeah,
wedge from 98 yards. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 But I mean, he is the world number one. I was going to say, do you see anything in his game that suggests he's not going to have another be on top of the mantle? And
I I think
nah,
I think he has another wicked, freaking amazing year, and then the talk about comparisons to Tiger starts to really escalate. They're already, people are already chirping like this and that, and then some of the guys are saying, yeah, but he's not playing against Rom consistently, and some of these guys, like Jack, played against his guys consistently, so makes for great fodder. But I don't think anything stops him. He's amazing.
Andy's
I,
shaking his head, Bobby. So
no, I totally agree. I mean, like every time you think that maybe he's reached his peak, nope. Every time there's a chink in the armor, whether it's during a round or a whole tournament, nope. He's back better than ever. Like his putting woes, nope.
nope.
I mean, he's just an unbelievable performer. And he just keeps getting better and better. I don't see anything getting in his way of stopping the level of play that he's performing at.
I
And
was
we've talked about it before because he compartmentalizes everything. It's just like shuts it off. I'll be back. I'll be come play some golf. Fancy
I was
foot.
curious. I was curious how he would do in that environment, that night, that match, the whole environment, where he seems to really thrive under the gun in these big events. And I just kind of wondered, how would he survive? How would he look at that whole match thing? Like, would he be just like yawning and like, all right, whatever? His I don't give much about it. Is light years ahead of everybody else, anyways.
I think so. I think so for sure. Like he's happy to be there. I think he loves what he does, but is he affected? You know, he was affected when he won the gold medal, right? That shows you how sentimental and traditional he is.
Yeah.
But something like this, he was happy to participate, it seems like, and I don't think any of that affects him at all. One thing that I'll throw out to you guys, that whole live versus PGA Tour dynamic,
Oh yeah.
what a dud that was.
Yeah,
Like a total dud. And I think people want to make that into such a thing, and it's just not. It's not. It doesn't mean that if they would do this match in 6 months, that Brooks and Bryson wouldn't, sweep Rory and Scotty. I mean, that could easily happen too. It doesn't mean shit about whether the PGA Tour is good or Live is good or one's better than the other. It doesn't mean shit. And this had nothing to do with that.
But
It
Andy, do
certainly
you do
played
you do
out
you,
that way.
do you think that well, because you kind of got my I had this one teed up, no golf pun intended.
Sorry.
But I mean, did it live up to the hype of that of golf PGA versus live? And then the next question is, was it entertaining? I mean, versus previous other types of formats, um, is exhibition golf dead?
I mean, who was the master of exhibition golf? It was Walter Hagen, right?
Hmm.
Back in the day, the swashbuckler. It, it was all about personality.
Correct.
And there was none of that last night.
So when you guys are saying about Scotty, I mean, I don't think he's unaffected. I don't think personally he likes that atmosphere because they're sticking a microphone in his face the entire time.
I mean,
Bryson Bryson thrives in that environment, Mr. YouTube star.
Scotty even it's a small comment, but it's interesting and telling where he goes. I don't even Scotty goes he's got the AirPod, and
Yeah,
because I'm used to using
the
the
wired.
plug, yeah, with wire, and so yeah, I just it is something about if you play golf and the elements are bad, and let's just say it was chilly. I mean, it's lit pretty darn chilly. I mean, Bryson's wearing that jacket. You're worried about staying cold. You get your hands in your pocket. You're going like this. I don't think you're as outgoing. And when it's a warm day and it's nice out. I mean, I think you're more social. That's a good point, Andy, about the weather is going to impact it. They
Yeah.
probably threw a lot of money on them.
Yeah, and I think honestly think the weather, limits the amount of chatter they have, limits the amount of personality that gets shown just because they're preoccupied with staying warm. It's too much.
I found it interesting though. I mean, here you got Rory. We'll break down the personalities. You got Rory. He's constantly, since the kid was a teenager, he's had a microphone in his face. He's comfortable carrying that mantra of, a modern television star. I don't think Scotty fills that role. Bryson has. We've got to see
Yeah.
Bryson 3.0's personality is pretty cool. And Brooks doesn't give a shit. And that personality serves him well.
I think Brooks was embarrassed last night
With the way they played?
with the way he played.
Oh,
Like I,
interesting.
I honestly, I honestly feel like he clearly wasn't on his game, and I don't think that's good for his ego.
Hmm.
He didn't have as many peaches as he thought.
Not enough peaches coming off his clubs.
There's no peaches. Was that
No,
what about the drama between those two? I mean, it's legendary, the eye rolls or unless that was concocted, but I mean, was there a rivalry between those two? Did you just get that sense?
4 years ago there was. There isn't anymore. I mean, they hated each other
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they're two like super strong personalities and extremely different from each other, and therefore they had nothing in common and they hated each other. And now they're both live people and they have that in common. So I think all that's gone away.
Well, and they bro hugged it out of the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bobby, same question to you. Is it in the past?
Um, Probably in the past, but it would be interesting if something happens in the future and there's an incident. But maybe they're just getting a little more mature. I thought it was interesting sitting in the same golf cart driving. I know it sounds crazy, but I wondered if Brooks is like, why is he driving, not me? Like little things. I mean, there's some people I played golf with
Wait a minute. I
that
thought wasn't Brooksy driving?
No.
every time I like Bryson was driving, unless I missed some. But
I could have
I mean,
sworn I saw I could have sworn Puffy Jacket was on the left one time. Maybe they were. Maybe I don't know. I know they almost took out a rope and killed each other.
yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah. I've played sometimes with somebody that just doesn't understand where to drive, how to stop, how to go. And it throws me off my game. I know it's crazy.
I do not like to passenger. I just don't.
Yeah.
Like there's times where I'm playing with guys that are so narcissistic that they're just going to their ball all the time and never considering the other people in the group, and I just can't stand when people don't like, okay, I'm gonna drop you off with your clubs. I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna hit mine. I'll come back and get you. Like there's so many people that drive golf carts that are like, okay, Bobby, we're here at your ball. Why don't you go ahead and hit? And then when you're done filling your divot, you hop in the cart and we'll go over and hit my ball.
Yeah.
It's like I hate that. I
I,
hate it.
I I do instruction on etiquette and how to save time when you're playing golf on the golf cart. And
Of
these
course
people
you
that
do.
get, of course, I mean, it drives me nuts. You walk to the golf cart, you're by your bag, you're cleaning your club, you put your hair cover back on. It's like, no, jump in the cart, drive to wherever you're going. Then when you get out and you're
Yeah,
exchange, you got to put clubs in and take them out anyways. That's saving time. 30 seconds every hole. It all adds up. All that little stuff adds up.
Absolutely.
100%.
All right, so moving on, boys. We got some big financial moves happening. It's the end of the year. Everybody's got to make their financial moves for taxes. Got to find those last minute write-offs. Recent days has been reported the Public Investment Fund, PIF, of Saudi Arabia has purchased a 6% stake in PGA Tour Enterprises. Is this a massive shift in the golfing world? What say you, Mr. Hydorn? Let's go to you first. You are the
If
live report.
if you can tell me what that even is, I would have an opinion, but I don't. I mean, PGA Tour Enterprises is a new entity that is going to have assets and do things, but
Right.
I don't even know what it is. And 6% interest in an unknown entity, to me, I don't even know what to say about it. It's of no value, in my mind. I don't really know what it is.
Valid point. Mr. Baldessari, do you believe, though, it demonstrates or signals a closer relationship between the PGA Tour and Saudis?
I thought it was a bizarre numerical number, like 6%. Like that's weird. Like why not say 5, 10? Why not say 7.5? Like it just struck me as what is six? Like it just
Well, it's an upside down nine.
So
yeah.
what was the number that they pledged to invest?
I'm not even sure if I saw that, actually.
Okay, so I thought I read, maybe I'm wrong, that it was like $1.8 billion dollars or something like that.
Yeah, it was maybe they backed it in and that's
Wait
how
a
they
minute.
got the
So if that's accurate, you're saying
Yeah,
that
so then
1.8
this whole thing
billion
is worth
dollars for
20 billion.
well, yeah, what's this thing worth then?
Yeah, an unknown entity worth, let's just
unknown.
call it 20 billion, right? What's
Yeah.
worth 20 billion
No, it'd be closer to almost
besides
50
besides
billion,
Alan
right?
Depew?
Well, yeah, obviously. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm making tax moves. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Like, in other words, writing a check. Um, no, it'd be like 50 billion if that's the valuation, right?
Is it? I'm bad at
Well,
math.
I mean, 5%,
Well,
5% of 10% of it. Oh my God, my math. Help me, Bobby.
let me get the calculator out.
It's closer to 20 billion.
But anyways, I thought, well, to your point, that was it could be everything from it's the beginning of something. It's small but meaningful. I still kept thinking, what in the world is 6%? That just struck me as a strange number. But the old saying is like in Washington, a few million here, a few million there. Pretty soon, talking real money.
Yeah.
Well,
So
they
I mean,
always,
they
they
It's
always
a
say it's easier to raise big money than small money.
it's a $30 billion valuation.
Thank you, Andy, because
Yeah.
it's been a long day.
And we're assuming that that investment was 1.8 billion, which I just pulled that out
Well,
of my
for our
yeah.
purposes here today,
Yes.
we're making that leap of faith,
But
absolutely.
I'm pretty sure it was in the billions.
But I mean, the Saudis and Live in general, I mean, it certainly shows how intertwined maybe that the two organizations or they're desiring to be. And then on the heels, we'll keep going with Puffy Jacket. Bryson announcing that Reebok is buying a team on Live, which I know that was apparently an
Yeah.
objective of theirs. I guess everybody gets a Puffy Jacket. Puffy Jackets for everyone.
Like the Seinfeld show.
Yeah.
Puffy shirt.
Puffy shirt and a puffy jacket.
Christian would not get that at all.
No.
No. So is Paul Fireman still at Reebok?
That's a good question. I guess so. I don't know.
Well, Reebok got acquired by Adidas at one point, did they not?
You know what? I was having that conversation with Andrew today. Yes, he thinks that they did.
Yeah.
Then why didn't Adidas buy a
Yeah.
team?
Well, maybe because they're wanting to leverage the Reebok brand.
Could be.
I personally don't know why anybody would buy a live team, but
I gotta believe the viewership, the ROI is not there.
speaking of viewership,
Speak to me.
Segway King. I did hear that it's imminent that Fox Sports and Live sign a broadcasting deal.
Get out of here.
Yep. I heard that yesterday and today um, on PGA Tour radio, but it seems like you know, Liv's going to be broadcast on Fox Sports.
Interesting. Well, I mean, let's stick with Liv here for just a moment more. I mean, how are some of the players that have been relegated? I mean, what are they feeling right now? I think Bubba's one of, wasn't Bubba one of them?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, where's Ogletree? I don't know where he's at. Um, what does this signify for what's the bigger picture? It's if they got a deal, is immense financial power, the Saudis and the sport. Bobby, discuss. I mean, does this mean the tour's future is waning or morphing, or read the tea leaves for me?
The tea leaves, they're brewing. they're they're cooking back there, I think. I mean, the tour is having a issue with viewership this year. Numbers not looking so good. I mean, that was even getting back to the Jay Monahan viewership down, losing Maine, big sponsors. Sponsors been around for decades. So many bad things happening, yet he's getting a bonus. He's getting that whole thing about. Well, I know we'll talk about that in a minute, but that he still was keeping his job was amazing. But
Well, let's go there right now. Monahan's. I mean, it's funny. Greg's gone. We hear.
Yeah.
Relegated to a new role. Jay's position on the PGA Tour Commissioner, is it at risk? Either of you, feel free to answer. Lots of rumors, drama heating up. What's his role going to be? And oh boy, oh God,
leaning.
Andy leaned. Andy leaned in.
The
Is the commission is
leaning
the Andy is the commission jeopardy?
No, I don't know, but I say no. And look, I feel like this new role is probably going to be part and parcel to the new entity, which is PGA Tour Enterprises, and it just makes sense.
Owned 6% ownership by PIF.
$30 billion company
Yep.
needs a CEO, and I mean, the way I read it, and nobody knows, the tea leaves could be brewing, like Bobby says, but it just seems like Jay's the commissioner of PGA Tour, and they're gonna hire someone to be the CEO of PGA Tour Enterprises.
Yes.
Okay, so once again, just like last week, I volunteered, for headhunters on the LPGA commissioner spot. If they need somebody to step up,
You don't discriminate between genders.
not at all,
Nope.
none whatsoever. Monahan's, hey, we have to be honest here. Though. Monahan has faced some incredible challenges in his tenure at the top. I mean, he saw him through COVID. He's the creation of Live, the back and forth with Live, the departure, the insinuations by top names, guys that were, Phil Mickelson, perceived to be loved by everybody, and suddenly, turned on him. What's this next leader? In all honesty, Bobby, I mean, what do you envision from a future leader, CEO of enterprises?
I think you got to separate it probably. The enterprises is one business, and then the tour is a commissioner. And I don't see somebody doing both. I think you need mindset and talents to go over each sort of. You got to separate those things to me. I don't know all the intimate details. It was ironic. I was going back looking through some my photos on Facebook. I was trying to find a photo with Jeff Babineau when Jay Monahan went in as commissioner. It had to be 2016 because I have a photo with Jay at the PGA annual meeting in New York City, the two of us that we took together when I was at that meeting. And I thought, wow, he'd been in there a while. And you're right, he's had a lot of crap come his way. But, the commissioner thing, if you get somebody that really can have a conversation with Liv, maybe they can bring this whole thing together. Who knows? Maybe they, I don't know. It's just, I can't see anybody doing both. I really can't.
Andy, who could replace Jay?
Nobody's going to replace Jay.
No, okay. Who could be the new CEO of enterprises?
Well, I mean, that's an important distinction, right? Like Jay's not being replaced. He's doing his job, and somebody else is going to get hired to do this other job. So, who would it be? I have no idea who it would be. I mean, I
It's got to be a huge personality, you would think.
has to be.
I mean,
Has to be. Like, yeah. Like a Pavit of Aqua type, maybe, like somebody like that who's had that sort of experience.
right. What do you think the landscape looks like, though? I mean, how does it all the moves that are being made, in my humble opinion, are being made for the top 10%. The guys at the top, we're the ones bringing the money, we're the ones need to get paid. Is it going to be a select tour now reduced to 72, 80, 100 players? Is there going to be a new tour that's going to be the Corn Ferries basically get relegated down to double A ball? I mean, how does it all play out? Is it going to be some kind of relegation system with like soccer where you're going to see, the Premier League? What's your crystal ball saying?
See, I think you're thinking about it like the tour is going to change, and that may happen. I don't see that though. Like I don't see
I
PGA Tour Enterprises being, a new PGA Tour. I see,
I think it's going to
something
be a world.
else.
I personally think it's going to be a world tour. An
It might
AT
not be any tour at all. Like it might be,
what?
yeah, I mean, seriously, it might end up being like, the Tiger Golf League or something like that. It's a for-profit enterprise, right? Where we all know that the PGA Tour is a 501c3 or
We
C,
do.
whatever,
Our historical
nonprofit,
our
right?
historical compadre has told
Yeah,
us.
yeah. So I just without knowing what actually the product is that's under the umbrella of PGA Tour Enterprises, it's so hard to even fathom. Like we're talking about who would lead PGA. Who knows? Who knows what their product is? Like what is it that they even plan to do? Like I don't know any of that. And it seems like such big things that are unanswered at this stage of the game.
Bobby,
I was gonna before I forget, I was gonna make a comment that this golf thing came out with their top 20 or 25
most
most
powerful
powerful,
most powerful people in golf.
quote unquote. I love that phrase, most powerful.
Yeah.
Interesting to me, I took a real quick glance. I think the top 10, 6 or 8 are top management company CEOs. This whole thing is flipped. Jay Monahan, commish of the tour. Historically, that's a top 1, 2, or maybe 3. I
Right.
think he was ranked 14th, I think.
Yeah.
Like that.
I don't remember his ranking, but yeah, it's all the big guys up top.
Yeah, I mean that this whole thing, there's not one PGA of America person on that list. This whole thing has really flipped. Talking about tea leaves, I looked at that, had some pretty interesting thoughts that hit me. If this is the landscape going forward, is it these big, huge multi management companies that oversee hundreds of courses? They do have a lot of power. They can shift things more than, say, the CEO of an organization. But I'm still surprised that Monahan was so far down.
Can they? I mean, but aren't we talking two different products? I mean, when we had Jay
Yeah.
Karen on here, and
Yep.
then when I ran into him a few weeks later, and I made the same statement I made that night, which is that the golf when do and there's been a shift. I feel it in the industry that the owners have taken back control of their position in the game, but they're not on TV. They're not getting
Mm-hmm.
star power. And it's still going to be always, it's not going to be, hey, Bobby, saw you at the Woodford Club. It's going to be that for the golfer as a personal nature to you, but it's going to be the, hey, you see what Brooksy did, or you say whatever. I mean, am kind of shocked that the top management guys, many of whom I know, vaulted ahead of, all the tour people.
The usuals. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
historically on that list, Norman was at the bottom. It was the first year I really looked at that list and went, wow, something's changing. It's really flipped.
Andy.
Yeah, I mean, again, I didn't see the list, and it'd be interesting to see the list, but I don't get why, the CEO of Troon or the CEO of Landscape, you know, those guys are super powerful.
Yeah, and I guess that's what I'm trying to say. They're not
Yeah,
moving the needle.
I
They're
don't understand that either.
moving the needle to their Don Ray is maybe moving the needle of his 31,000 PGA golf professionals and apprentices. But they're not moving the needle like if Tiger comes back and plays, or Rory, or Scottie. Those guys are the needle. Am I wrong with this? Or
No, I mean,
No,
I
yeah,
mean,
the
Greg Norman, I think just barely, and we love Greg Nathan at the NGF, National Golf Foundation, for those of you that aren't aware. But I think Greg may have actually almost beat Norman in the rankings.
he did. I think he was. I'm bringing it up right now because
I'm glad.
it's just alphabetical though, Alan.
Oh,
yeah. So Jay Monahan was number 12. He was 12.
that's
Tiger
crazy.
Tiger was 13.
That's
Uh,
well,
he,
but wait, I can appreciate that. Tiger's
hey,
impact on the game is
oh yeah,
waning, but he's still, if Tiger comes back, Tiger is the story.
you've got Gil Hance, a golf course architect, ranked 14.
Yeah.
I find the title powerful. Really interesting that they pick here.
Yeah.
They've always had that.
Influential, maybe.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Because
Our
Troon's sitting there with 665 golf clubs. Yeah, that's influential.
Yeah. Jay Karen was 20.
Hey, we know somebody.
You got Corin Crenshaw, another architect there at
Yep.
23. Greg Nathan, way to go, Greg, number 24. You beating the other Greg Norman. There you go.
Norman 25?
Yeah.
Was he really?
Yep.
That's crazy. But then the whole Cabot thing, they were on that list.
Yeah, Ben Coward, DeWar,
Yep.
number 10.
Yep.
Yeah, the Kaiser's at number 11. Yeah, number 11. So
Yeah, Like I don't get that even more than I don't get like the management company thing. Like you own a couple of really awesome golf resorts, but how influential or
Yeah,
powerful
how are you and they're great, by the way.
they're awesome. Yeah.
How are you moving the needle in the industry?
Are there and maybe the answer to that is
Bro,
that they've upped the ante on making some of these places be so spectacular and some of these discovery land projects that are under construction right now are just
I could
supposedly incredible.
Andy, I can actually buy that part of the argument that you've
Yeah.
changed the landscape of destination golf and what the
Yeah.
expectation is for golfers. You've reimagined it,
Yeah.
Robert. You've reimagined it. I can appreciate that. But the tour is still the tour. It's
Well, and then
on every
if they
Saturday and Sunday.
yeah, if they reimagine that golf experience that a lot of people can't do. They can't afford it. They aspire for it, but
Right.
that's an interesting way to look at it too.
Yep.
Yeah, do you give up Disney World for $10,000 or do you go to Pinehurst? Interesting question.
Yeah.
All right. Winding it down, approaching the 18th green. Who wants to go first? Andy?
Oh,
Sure.
okay.
I'll go.
Oh, I did have one last quick question.
Yes.
Golfing gift. What's your number one golfing gift for somebody? Or if you'd like, I can jump in there because I found one online. I cheated.
Why don't you jump in?
Okay. The portable magnet Bluetooth golf wireless speaker version 3.0. Got a 9 out of 9 exceptional by Best Products Review. And that is why I would say that should be on your golfer's tree. Closely followed by Pro V1s. $55 at a retailer near you.
Was that the public service announcement segment of the show?
It was similar yet different.
Yeah. Okay, so
Okay, Andy,
my
Christmas gift. Then we'll go to your final thought.
I don't have a Christmas gift.
Man.
I
All right,
mean,
final thought.
a
All
new
right.
sandwich because you practice too much.
Yeah.
Okay, final thought. Like always, I have two of them. First one is Marco Penge, a DP World Tour player.
You took
Alan, did I steal yours?
son of a bitch.
Well, I tell you what, I'll let you handle that.
No, you go ahead.
Nope,
It's
nope.
all you now. I'm not touching it.
Because I have a bigger one.
Oh, do you? All right. Well, then Marco Penge, PGA, a DP World Tour player, Englishman, suspended 3 months for betting on golf. The latest victim for betting on the game. Say it's not so, Pete Rose.
No gambling in Bushwood.
Okay, listen, just because I gave you, the opportunity to use that one, you took my honor. I,
Your Honor,
I, I was on the tee box.
Your Honor, Your Honor.
Yeah. So
Oh, my
all
arm.
I think it's broke. All of this talk about the match and watching it last night, we all talked about how it was disappointing. The major disappointment in that whole thing was Mr. YouTube, Bryson DeChambeau. He
Oh,
took his earpiece out.
But
You know that?
yeah.
He took his earpiece out and he stopped communicating because he was pissy because he was playing poorly.
Because he couldn't make a
Well,
single putt.
right. So at the end of the day, if you're not aware enough to realize that you're playing in an entertainment event and you're going to do that, that is the lamest thing. Like Mr. Bryson 3.0 is now into Mr. Bryson 4.0,
Well,
and his
he didn't have
stock,
2 or 3 takes to do it. That's the problem.
his stock just went down. I mean,
Hmm.
I thought that was completely lame, and he totally triple bogeyed that whole thing.
He putted as bad as Mike Armel at that scramble tournament that we played in.
Yeah.
He didn't have to putt either, Alan. What are you talking about?
Well, I needed somebody to personally show me the line.
Yeah.
All right, Bobby, wrap this puppy up.
Well, on the gift, I'm going to flip it and turn it on its edge. I've been asked, do I want a yardage finder? Do I want a radar thing? Do I want a, I don't even know what to call them. I've never used one. People keep saying, do you want one for a gift? I'm never used one. I go by my eyesight, my feel.
I don't know how to use one.
Like I just, I appreciate a lot of people need it and they need to know it's 72 yards. My whole life I looked and I get a feel and I hit it and go. It's just me. It's that old school thing in me, but I appreciate it. I like to sell them in the shop for sure. Two things. This is my little thing I'm always on, but the silly season, the match, the skins coming back. I tell you, my fellow Americans, I will watch the skins and really be engrossed if they play for their own money. Average golfers play skins for their own money. That's just my little quirky thing that I think put up, even if 50,000, 100, whatever, put some to charity. I'm just always into this. They're playing and they're like under this, under pressure. Oh, this hole's worth 100,000. It's not their money. Let me go out there and play for 100,000. I don't know. It's just great.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah, the other thing is the tough week continued for a lot of us in the golf industry with a guy I worked with at PGA America headquarters, Dan Baker, passed away last Friday. So we lost Babs, lost Dan Baker. Dan's a great, great guy. I worked very, very closely with Dan. We were at headquarters. He was in the business development, just a prince of a guy. He's done so much in the game. It just, it sucks. Two really, really, really good guys are gone way, way, way too soon. So somewhere on some green fairway up in heaven, Dan and Babs, hopefully they can play a little bit of golf together.
You're here. All right, guys, that's a wrap for today. From the match draw, Saudi's back purchase, the fate of Jay Monahan, no shortage of topics in the golf world right now, even though it's the middle of winter. I'll say it again, if you're enjoying the deep dives, the commentary, don't forget to subscribe and share this episode. We'll be back next week or the next week after. We haven't finalized Christmas holidays. Holidays are coming up. Thanks again for tuning in. Bob's got his stocking showing there. To quiet, please. And remember, always keep it quiet on the golf course. Until next time.
Merry Christmas.